Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Thrive in Your Mission with Tavia Sharp and me, Elvira Hopper. And today we are excited to dive into another juicy conversation around how you can take your mission to the next level. So, there's this idea that, people talk about it all the time. You got to hustle, right? You got to hustle. And we don't believe hustle is the way. We believe that alignment and flow is the way. So, why hustle when you can flow? Why hustle when you can be in alignment with your values and your highest self and you're doing what you were brought here to do, right? So, Tavia, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, I always whenever I think of hustle, I feel like this is like this bro mentality, like the
Yeah,
bro marketers, like
yeah,
get
pro
up at
marketing.
5 a.m. and you know, do this. And it's like this like super rigid schedule and like you need to be super productive and it honestly because I a recovering high achiever because I still get into the high
Same.
achiever like seriously because we both come from like this corporate background. Mine was the fashion
Yeah,
industry, Alvira's the pharma,
yeah,
and those cultures are all about the hustle, right? And
yeah.
deadlines and getting we need to bring the numbers up, right? And it's all about the business.
Yeah,
And honestly, and it's hard to break free from that. I'll speak for myself. I'm
yeah,
always constantly like reminding myself, you don't have to do that anymore. You are an
yeah,
entrepreneur. And what works most for me is not the hustle that leads to burnout, it's alignment. So it
yes.
is more about lining up with the values, but also like what feels like resonant at the moment. And when I'm able to stop and tune in with that and really listen to my inner guidance, that's when it just flows, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Versus the hustle, which is like, I got to do this and I got to make sales. And so I have to make this many, send this many messages a day and reach out to this many people. And I got to write these emails and I'm in launch mode and I have to do
mm,
all these things to get people, right? And I'm just so done with
mm,
that because that all led to burnout. And
yeah,
that reminds me a lot of my corporate career, which I was highly burnt out from. And then I started being an entrepreneur and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the same thing that I did in my corporate job, right? Because it's just you know, like you just kind of go with this like thing that you know best. But I
yeah,
realized that actually I was treating my business like a job, right? But
yeah,
I got
yeah.
away from the job so that I'd have freedom, but then I got to be an entrepreneur and I was like, but I'm doing the same thing to myself. So that's not freedom, okay? So
Oh
what was
my
your
God.
that was your experience?
Yeah, so as you were talking there, I got this really cute little phrase because you know me, I love playing with words. So from fashion and pharma to flow. That's basically us, right? We
Yes.
because fashion and pharma is hustle, right? To
Mhm.
flow, which is who we are today. When we are in our higher self, our goddess self, our divine
Mhm.
feminine, we do flow. We are in our joy, right? Whatever brings us joy is what's
Mhm.
going to bring us money, to be honest, because that
Yes.
that is there's a connection between joy and going with the flow in your joy to attracting money, attracting
Mhm.
clients. Because people are not drawn to hustle energy, especially in women. Like men are a little more forgiven if they're in hustle energy, but even men
Mhm.
can go into their feminine flow and be more successful, I believe, right?
Yeah.
We know Alok and Jonathan, when they're in their
Mhm.
feminine flow, they're so attractive, right?
Yeah.
So I think, it's about connecting to who you truly are. Who you truly are is a divine being. And if you choose to believe this, this is what saved my life at rock bottom. One of the teachings that saved me is that I'm a divine being in this meat suit called Elvira. You're a divine being in this meat suit called Tavia. And,
Mhm.
we're all here for a purpose that is uniquely our own. And when we're in flow, we allow spirit to guide us. We allow spirit to share what we need to share. Like when I'm up on stage, I don't speak, I channel, right? I'm
Mm.
represented by one of the oldest speakers bureaus on the planet. And I said to them, when they brought me on, like, which was like a total dream that I manifested, and it came true when COVID hit. And I said to them, I just need you to know something. I don't speak, I channel. And they said, we don't care. We checked you out online and you're great. So I'm now
Okay.
working represented by one of these incredible agencies, one of the oldest on the planet. And so I know that when I'm up on stage and when I'm doing my business, it's all about being guided by a power that's, that I call it authentic power, right? So we talk about
Mm-hmm.
my program, being in your vibration of authentic power, where you just allow spirit to guide you, your higher self, whatever you call it, God, universe, spirit, source, goddess, nature, like what is it that keeps you in alignment with your highest self and going in the direction that feels good, right? Versus, oh my God, I got to get this done and I got to put out this many
Mm-hmm.
calls and I've got to do this spreadsheet and I've got to. That's actually toxic masculine energy, to be honest. But
It
when
is.
we're aware of it, we can choose. Do I want to be down here and be a crap magnet, or do I want to be up here and be a miracle magnet and flow in
Mm.
alignment? Right. So I
Yeah.
make this choice like intuitively every single day. I live up here. Sometimes I'm triggered. Sometimes, shitty things happen and I go into my masculine, oh, I got to get this done. Right. But I remind myself real fast, hey, you know what? This is who you truly are. You
Mm-hmm.
are a divine being. You're here for this purpose. It's bigger than you. And you're going to get it done in a way that feels good. Right. So those are my
Yes.
thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, because if you do it in a way that just feels like you're checking things off the list, not that you shouldn't have a to-do list, because I do, because I want to make sure I didn't forget things. But I think that you have to remember that you're going to feel so exhausted from having to do instead of align and flow, and um, when you're aligned with your energy feels aligned and it feels like it's flowing, you become more magnetic
Yes,
because
that's
people
it.
are
Miracle
attracted.
magnet. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the energy of that is much more attractive, and the other type of energy is more repelling.
Yes.
And it's like kind of like dating, right? When we're like, oh my gosh, we have to like go out and meet people, or I have to get on the dating app and I have to like check it for 30 minutes a day, or whatever it is that you tell yourself about the dating world. Is like that becomes forced, it becomes very heavy, it becomes like anxious, right? That is not attractive energy.
Mm.
So you're making it harder for yourself to attract and find your ideal partner. When you get in alignment, when your energy is upbeat and you're like, I get to,
Yeah.
meet new people, I get to have fun with dating. Like when you shift the energy around it and you get into alignment with the excitement and enjoy
Yeah.
the ride, you become magnetic instead
Yes.
of the one that's repel, 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 because we're not
Yeah.
trying to check it off like a job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so I think
I
business is
love
the
that.
same way. I always do
Yeah.
these comparisons to like your
Metaphors. Yeah.
business and dating because they're really not that different if you think about it. We got to find
You're
clients, we got to
selling. You're
find
still
dates,
selling, right? You're selling
we're
yourself.
selling
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's either you're getting more dates or you're getting more clients, and it's the same idea, right? We want to find our soulmate clients, we want to find our soulmate, right?
Mhm.
And it's not that different. And so oftentimes we have to think of it in a different way to like understand, oh, you might be hustling instead of
Yeah.
aligning, and that might be why it feels so hard or heavy
Right.
or exhausting. And
Icky. Icky and
yeah,
sticky. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I talk to so many. I work with a lot of men as client. My client, a lot of my
Mm.
clients are men, and they often do the hustle. And I have
Mm.
to remind them, like, you got to stop hustling so hard because that's why you're so tired. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. And sometimes I'm the reminder for them, right, to just get
So
back
good.
into a little bit more of their feminine flow because
Yeah.
they will be hustling themselves into the ground, like men do. And My
Yeah.
father does that. He's a workaholic and he's
Yeah.
supposed to be retired and he's 74 years old and he's still working like
Yeah.
constantly. I'm like, what is going on? You should be taking breaks. He like would prefer to have his to-do list and he would prefer to be
Yeah.
busy. That's just who he is. I'm not going to change him. But
No.
it's just funny how we don't allow ourselves like to
Yeah.
rest when we need
Yeah.
rest. So I have learned to do that too and not to feel guilty about it. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I used to feel super guilty when
I
I
used to.
wasn't
Yeah.
working, like,
In big
even in
pharma,
my
I
business.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm. Oh,
yeah.
and big pharma? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even in my business, I would get into that mindset, like, "Oh my god, I'm wasting time. Ooh, I don't have time to waste. I could be doing XYZ." And I was like, "I gotta stop this because this is not the way to be. This isn't what I
Yeah.
wanted when I started my business. My dream was to have freedom and, get
Yeah.
to like design it the way I want, be my own boss and, and have fun. And here I am getting into that same routine of like, I got to
Right.
hustle, I got to do and can't take breaks because that's a waste of time. And this whole cycle. And I'm sure that people can relate to what we're saying a lot in being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Hmm.
And it bears worth repeating, over and over and over because we are human, we're going to forget, so it's important to be reminded of who you truly are and what you're here to do. And you're here to have fun, living your values, it's less
Hmm.
about doing. You're a human being, not a human doing, right? So it's just
Yes.
reminders. This is just a reminder. So, click this video on if you need a little reminder of who you truly are. You are a human being, not a human doing.
Yes.
And when you live in your divine flow and your essence, that's alignment, and that makes you magnetic. In my world, that makes you a miracle magnet. So you don't have to do it down here, with hustle, hustle, hustle. You get to do it up here with flow, flow, flow,
Hmm.
alignment. Let's have fun in our business. Let's make lots of money, serve lots of amazing people, because that's what we're here for. Mission is about service, right? So you make
Yes.
money while serving others. That's what your mission is about. So thriving in your mission is what we're here for. And yeah, so I just want to wrap it up. A nice short one, just for you to remember what you're capable of. You can make that choice from hustle to alignment and flow. So thank
Hmm.
you, Tavia, for joining me
Thank
once again.
you.
And great to see you guys. And don't forget, the last Tuesday of each month at 12 o'clock noon, we have a meetup, a networking event free of
Hmm.
charge. So please make sure you join Thriving Your Mission Facebook group and join us. We'd love to see you. And we send you much love and hope to see you real soon. Take care.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Bye.